Hello everyone, it's Reimu. Right now I'm playing the Haku, but I just wanted to really talk about a few things regarding this carrier. The she has some problems in my opinion, right now in her current state, especially with how the new Tier 10 German carrier, the MVR released, strongest as ever. I think a few things needs to be touched on with the Haku. So Haku, before she got nerfed, she was actually the carrier to go to for competitive mode. Many can agree that she is the strongest carrier in the whole game before MVR released, and that's because of the very strong AP dive bombers, Alpha Strike, and also the ability to really do everything pretty much. She had the rockets to hunt DDs because they were fairly accurate because of the reticle style before the change. She can strike battleships and cruisers with the dive bombers for high alphas, and she also had torpedoes that also again had very large damage to them. But she was hit with two nerfs. First was I think it was the reticle change that happened for all carriers, for all HE rockets, and the second was it was the AP dive bomber Alpha Strike nerf. Right when they did this, they released Richthofen, who is the Tier 10 German carrier, and after playing her, there was honestly no reason to, after all the changes, there's no reason to really play the Haku anymore. Sure, the unique upgrades got reworked for all tier 10 ships. Some got buffed, some got nerfed. Haku finally received her unique upgrade after it was pretty much useless. It was you couldn't use it ever since the rework happened, and I was looking forward to it. Many other carrier players were looking forward to it, but we weren't expecting these nerfs to hit at the time. The reticle change, first of all, it basically flipped the reticle 90 degrees. So every single HE rocket reticle is now the same. And this was to help other players who don't play carriers to consistently be able to basically know how to angle against it, which is just showing you're being bound in or, you know, turning out. Because some carriers, the HE rockets, some were vertical, some were horizontal, and a lot of surface players apparently had issues trying to remember exactly which carrier had which reticle, which is understandable because not all of them play carriers. But when Wargaming did this, they did this to all HE rockets, so pretty much all every single HE every single carrier got touched. When they did this, they didn't adjust the sensitivity that the reticles had. Now, in case you guys didn't know, when you start the attack run with any type of any type of squadron, you generally use your mouse to do slight adjustments. This way, it doesn't throw the whole reticle off and get it becomes large, and the dispersion of the bombs or the rockets gets thrown off all over the place. You never really use A and D to adjust your aim, or else that will happen. But when they when Wargaming flipped the reticle on pretty much every single carrier that we have in the game, this pretty much made a lot of the rockets obsolete. In this case, for example, Midway's Tiny Tims. Not many know how sensitive Tiny Tim's reticle was unless you played Saipan or Midway. The thing with them was you generally never needed to make major adjustments with A and D or with the mouse, Because the way that the reticle was at the time before the nerf was, you generally go, you aim up, you line up the shot like you're lining up a dive bombing run, going towards the bow or the stern of the ship that you're trying to attack, and you just hold the A key. No, sorry, not the A key, the W key. Just go full acceleration, so you're out of the AA zone as quick as possible, and that was that. No, no one really, no one would ever use A and D or major mouse adjustments for that. As you can see, I got spotted by the MBR and I got sniped by the Yamato. That really hurt. But yeah, now after the change, you're forced to make the slight adjustment because you're forced to come from the side now. This is not just Tiny Tims. This is with the Hakuryu, the Shokaku, the Ryujo. Pretty much all of the Japanese carriers got affected. Saipan's rockets as well. All of these rockets, especially the Tiny Tims, you're forced to come at the side of the ship, which means you either preemptively line up the shot of where the ship is going to be, so you don't have to follow the enemy ship when they're sailing, or you pretty much follow the ship and risk the reticle expanding out so much that you barely land any hits. Wargaming never adjusted the sensitivity on that, which is a very big issue. A lot of Midway players, Midway and Lexington players, they switched from using Tiny Tims to the HFAR rockets, just because of the consistency in hits. Although the damage is not high, you can still do a lot of damage to the lighter armored units. You have a lot of rockets, so more chance for fires. The Tiny Tims pretty much got gutted. Same thing with the Japanese carriers rockets. It all, it's all on the same page. They all got affected, and they're just not good to use anymore. And on top of this, this greatly hurts DD hunting. It hurts cruiser hunting. You're pretty much stuck with the torpedo bombers. After this change, let me adjust my seat. The AP dive bombers, all the carriers that has AP dive bombers before the German carriers, but keep in mind the German carriers did not release at this time. All of the AP rockets that a carrier may have in the game, they all got nerfed in terms of Alpha Strike. Why they did this, I don't know. What I assume is the reason is because so they can nerf some of the premium ships out there, namely Enterprise. A lot of people are complaining that they still are, even after the nerf for some reason. They were complaining that Enterprise was overperforming. In my opinion, I don't think she was overperforming at all. I think she's honestly just overhyped. But that's for another topic. But Enterprise premium ships got affected from this, and that hurts a lot because this honestly just seemed like Wargaming just wanted to do something like this just so they can nerf premium ships. There was no reason to nerf the AP dive bombers on, the Shokaku, the Ryujo, or the Haku, because these carriers they have less HP. Well, as you see here, I get sniped by the MBR, but not much that we can really do. These bombs, they did not need to be nerfed. Planes are like paper. You have to actually aim them properly, which is a very strict requirement of going bow in, or aiming from the bow or from the stern. You have to line up the shot. If the ship is stationary, that's an easy target, without a doubt. If they're actively maneuvering, actively kiting, aka just dodging, it makes it a lot harder for the carrier, and it just relies on RNG. And it's not just strong carriers like the Japanese or Enterprise, it's Graf Zeppelin that got affected too, and this is a big issue. Grasshopper was already considered the second to worst carrier in the game, next to Implacable. And Grasshopper got hit with non-stop nerfs, non-stop adjustments, and it just hurt. It just gutted the carrier. There's no reason to play Grasshopper anymore unless you're doing it for memes. Yeah, it's just pretty insane how Wargame just decided to do this with Haku. I tried so hard to find a game for Haku. That's why I haven't been uploading any Hakuryu games lately. It's just because of moments like this. Like you know, this dive bombing issue. Sure, the unique upgrade came out. You know, that's nice, but it's not enough. In my opinion, she just needs some help. Had the Haku. She's just not good as before, but yeah. If you guys enjoyed it, that's pretty much the end of the video. But if you guys enjoyed it, you know, let me know in the comments what you think about the AP dive bomber nerfs. You know, so I can actually get an idea of how everyone else feels about this. Because for me, I don't think it was necessary at all. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you guys have a good one.